G'day, Rick here from Iron Edge. Just going to show you a few different exercises you can do with the assault rack here. With a little bit of creativity, there's a whole bunch of great, unique exercises you can do here. What we've set up here is the use of bands on the rack. So what we've got is the utility peg here on the side, on the high part of the plate storage section, looping around onto the other utility peg here with the spotting arm like so. So I'm going to get Josh to actually do a couple of squats here. We've just got an orange band which doesn't provide a hell of a lot of attention here, but gives you an idea of what sort of configuration you can set up. So at the top there's probably about another 30 kilo of band tension there, and at the bottom it pretty much deloads completely. So just another unique way you can use the bands. With band tension this light, you probably don't need to anchor some weights, but if you need to, you can always just slide some weights on either side of the utility peg like so. Okay, if you want to squat with heavier bands, we suggest this rig up here. We've got a spotting arm coming out low, we've got a utility peg in here, plus we've got some plates on here. The utility ped's also on the higher point here for the plate storage section. So rig the band up by hooking it around and then onto the barbell here. You're trying to actually make sure that the line of pull of the band is straight up and down, so make sure you line up this utility peg in the right position there. So Josh, if I can get you to do a squat now. So I've got quite a lot of band tension at the top here, and because we've got the weight anchoring this, the rack's not going to come up at all. So there's probably good 80 kilo of band tension at the top, plus the bar weight of 70. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of band tension going on there. And racking it back now. It's imperative that you have some plates on here, because with this sort of tension on it, there's a potential for the whole rack to lift off the ground, so be very careful whenever you're doing this kind of heavy band work. Another great way to use the assault rack is rigging up for some pulling dishes. So what we've got here is the spotting arm, and then we've got two utility pegs here at a distance apart where you can actually rest these plates on here. So we've set it about knee height for Josh. If you can get in there and do a couple of reps for us, mate. So you can just work different parts of the movement by setting it at different heights. So as you can see, you can just dump the weight back down on the utility pegs. Again, there's no issues of putting the bar down on the spotting arms. Sits nicely in between these utility pegs, and yeah, makes for a great variation. A rack wouldn't be complete unless you can do a bench press. We've configured this easily enough by just lowering the J-cups down to the suitable height and putting the spotting arms in like so. Now I'll get Josh to do a couple of reps here. So the spotting arms are set at the right height, so as he's doing his reps, they're not touching. But if he was to fail, not that he's going to fail on 40 kilo, but just for an example he has, he just simply, the spotting arms catch that, comes down to his neck, and then if he needs to, he can just wriggle out like so. So extremely safe, and certainly an easy setup for the bench press. The bench press can also be set up with bands. So what we've done here is set the spotting arms at the lowest point, put a utility peg in at the position where it's going to be working in a vertical plane here like so, and we've used the 12-inch bands. It's the only way you can actually get the tension rather than using the 41-inch. So I can get you to a couple of reps there, Josh. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of band tension at the top there, deloading, and he's working on his speed there, so really accelerating through to the top. So great way to certainly overload your bench pressing. You can also set up the assault rack for neutral grip chins. So we've set the spotting arm at the highest point here, and we've put a couple of utility pegs in at whatever height, whatever distance apart you need. So I'll get you to a couple of reps, big guy. So as you can see, even with Josh, he's 110 kilo, this thing is rock solid. And the only issue here is that you've got to actually hook your knees up like so, but that's no problem for that neutral grip chin up, which is a great variation to any sort of chinning move. You can also buy a Torsionator sleeve to slot into any one of these holes here. We've set it up down low here. Josh is just going to demonstrate a couple of the traditional Torsionator twists. So a great exercise for the whole torso and the upper body. You can also buy an additional Torsionator sleeve, and if you've got two barbells, you can then start doing a whole range of different exercises as well. Some presses, alternated presses into thrusters, So opens up a whole lot more exercises. You can use all the handles that are compatible with the Torsionator, the T-bar, the grappler and the single handle. So yeah, a whole lot more exercise you can do with your rack there. The assault rack provides a great anchor point for any of your ring work. So with the height at 240, means you've got great clearance for doing any of your work on the rings here. I'll get you to a couple of dips now, Will. So we're using our wooden rings here, beautiful grip on those. And as you can see, the rack's beautiful and sturdy there. That'll do you well. If you actually can't do a ring, you can simply set up the band like so to deload yourself. So hooking your knees on top of the band there, this will deload Will probably half his body weight. So for those who can't quite do a proper ring dip, using the band's a great way to progress. Another great exercise you can use with the assault rack is the slings here. So as you can see, Will's just slotted his arms into these slings here, and it sets up for a great hanging leg raise. So do a couple of reps there for us, Will. Just avoiding that swing. So great upper body and mainly abdominal exercise. These things are super strong, carry about 2 tons, so you'll never have any issues with them breaking. As you can see, there's hundreds of exercises you can do with the assault rack. Over time, you'll be able to invent your own sort of exercises and add to the repertoire. For those of you who are lucky enough to get your hands on one of these, I'm sure you're not going to be disappointed.